to clear the dungeon. So sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of small keys, but then that big key is just nowhere to be found. Anyway, we are immediately getting started. Liminality starting at Link's house, getting just an arrow capacity upgrade. That is not going to be really too helpful at the moment. Eriror actually going for Sanctuary, and looks like we got a small key to Skull Woods.
Nice to see some divergence right off the bat here.
Yes, we definitely do. Liminality can check out the Uncle Cave, also one of the tree poles as well. Eriror doing a very, very popular play in Keysanity, and a play that I really, really appreciate is going to the Houlihan room to get some rupees. Because keys and dungeon items are in the pool now, it's a lot harder to get those rupees you need in early game. So Houlihan's a nice way to kind of verify that you'll get that amount of rupees that you need. And from the Uncle, we get a big key to Desert Palace.
All right, that's not bad.
Yeah, if they can get in the desert and they get a couple of other items, they can complete that. And of course, that'll also allow the big chest item as well to be available, and just a piece of heart from the Uncle Cave treasure chest.
I like that Eriror decided to read the little box there. Shout out to our fall tourney champ, Ben Ajaneb 174 there.
Yeah, we're kind of turning the Chris Houlihan room into the Randomizer Hall of Fame room. So whenever we have winners to tournaments like these, they will be broadcasted in that tournament room as well.
That's awesome.
Ooh, Liminality need to be a little careful here. Ooh, just barely escaped that guard.
Meanwhile, Eriror got really lucky with the bombs there and was able to move right through that area.
Yeah, that's right. You'll see some players take this bottom route to Kakariko because there is a 50% chance that these bushes will drop some bombs, and you can get essentially 2 of them. Liminality not having the same luck that Eriror did, though, and unfortunately we'll just have 1. 1 is still enough to get some work done, but it is kind of unfortunate that he wasn't able to get a second one.
Ooh, and the flippers in the maze game there.
That is a very, very important item. It'll definitely give some items in the logic very early on. It also will pretty much remove the need for the fake flipper strat as well.
Ooh, and a big key in the library there. Could that be the Misery Mire key you were talking about?
It could be, and I mean, with needing boots to get that key, that could be a very, very trolly location for that too. Let's see, in the tavern, 50 rupees. That is good for Liminality. That will allow him to get some more bombs if he wants to make that purchase, but I think he is probably going to use that bomb for the... Oh, nope, he's using it for the chicken house. Okay, I guess he will be using those rupees to buy bombs.
Bit of a chicken clip there into the wall.
Get some more rupees, and Eriror using one of the 2 bombs that he got to check out this house right here. There are no items in here, but you can get 4 guaranteed bomb drops every single time you enter this place. So if you go in, grab 4 bombs, leave, and come back in, you can pretty much be good to go for bombs for not only the rest of Kakariko, but for a lot of the early Light World play as well.
Yeah, if the game is a bit stingy early on with rupees, then this is like not a bad option to go for this little hut here.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Okay, so we have one of the very big checks of Kakariko coming up on Liminality's side. We got the greenhouse, as I like to call it. 5 treasure chests in here. 1 is accessible only with a bomb. Let's see, we got 300 rupees. A single rupee. The Book of Medora. The bug catching net. And what do we have in the back here? Meanwhile, we get a big key from the bottle vendor, a big key to Swamp Palace. Not required to beat the dungeon, but it can be helpful. And the small key to Swamp Palace in the back of the greenhouse.
Wow, that doesn't come up early in seeds too often, so that's kind of interesting. Might be leading them towards that dungeon earlier. Might be a crystal dungeon as well.
Mm-hmm. In the Kakariko well, we have a bottle. We have the Cane of Burna. And the other 3 chests, we have a heart container, a small key to Misery Mire, and a 20 rupee. Okay, so since this is Keysanity, very quickly, just gonna go ahead and state what exactly is Keysanity for those who are just turning in and who have never heard of it before. Keysanity is a mode of Link to the Past Randomizer where in addition to all the items in the game being randomized, the keys and dungeon items are also randomized. So right there, Eriror just got a small key to Castle Tower. So you can find keys in the overworld, you can find them in other dungeons, so it's essentially, I guess you could say, the 100% randomized variant of Link to the Past.
That was a very nice synopsis there of what Keysanity is all about. So we saw, so we got the Book of Medora here in Blind's Hut. So we've got the book, and we've also got the big key to Desert Palace. All we're looking for is a fire source at this point, and we're pretty close to completing that dungeon.
That is true. We will also need a glove upgrade too. But yeah, that will definitely put Desert Palace in the logic, and may not be a bad place to check right now.
So right now our runner's kind of going over the spots the others have already checked, which is pretty common in the early game.
Yeah, we'll definitely see a lot of retrace steps in the early game. Some people have even adapted to taking kind of drastic different routes altogether, but it still seems that at the beginning of these Keysanity seeds, all of the ground will be covered in some way, whether it's Cat Greco, Eastern Palace area, Hyrule Castle, the Southern Shore. All those areas are very, very early game prime locations, so definitely a lot of item possibilities there. We have the mushroom inside the Thieves hideout in the forest. And
Looks
the
like
other...
Lim is looks like Lim's heading over towards the forest as well, but maybe taking a stop to see what's at the lumberjacks cave there. This spot up here, often doesn't have anything, but you need to do the check to make sure that it isn't anything. We had a race yesterday that did not work out so well because someone didn't check.
Ooh.
Oh, and Tower of Hera, small key.
That's right. We have a small key on the pedestal, everyone. That could come into play. Now, you don't need the small key to actually clear Tower of Hera, but there could be an item down there, and there's exactly one chest in that location. So until we hit go mode, there could always be that small key on our runners' minds right now.
Getting our first look at dam in the South Shore area here. Some more money in the dam there, so pretty generous with the rupees so far this seed.
Yeah, and it's good that they are being generous, because with those early flippers being acquired, that will make the Zora area a very, very good play at this point, because not only can they get the Zora item, but also get all the other items that are around. And in the dam we have a... Well, there's the big key to Misery and Mire. My predictions are up now.
That only took 8 minutes. How disappointing.
And I feel like there was another commentary session I was a part of where I made the same statement with a different big key, and sure enough, it was right there in the dam. So that's I guess, commentator's luck right there. Okay, Eriror is in the desert. He is going to be checking Agonon's item right now, but being in the desert, we'll probably get a Desert Palace check as well.
Yeah, I would think so. At least especially if the desert ledge has something, then they'll want to work their way through the dungeon. Other than that, we might have one item location in there right now, or do we have the small key?
We have the big key, so we can get the item that's
big chest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we can get that. We can get the other chest they can get. We can get the item on the desert ledge, and we can also get some intel on what the torch item is going to be too. Okay, another really stacked early game location, Mini Moldarm Cave. We have a red boomerang, a red rupee, a map to the Dark Palace, some bombs, and the boots!
Whoa, what are those?
What are those indeed? That small key, was it a small key or was it a big key in the library?
I believe it was a big key.
Okay, big key, so that will allow that key to be acquired. You may have noticed that whenever they grab keys or dungeon items, it will actually tell you what dungeons they belong to when you pick them up. But for those keys that are just kind of on those ledges, you don't know until you actually pick up the item, so it's very important that they got those boots when they did.
Ooh, looks like Eri forgot that he had the big key and didn't check that big key, a big chest actually.
Well, it's actually not on his tracker right now, so I don't know. Maybe he did not. Oh, was the big key in the uncle's cave?
Ah, yeah, it might have been.
Okay, so yeah, he does not have that key. Yeah, it is Liminality that has that key. So that's what happened there.
So after the ice rod cave, are we gonna get some of the? Looks like we're out both swimming at the same time here. So Hobo and maybe head over to the waterfall cave and Zora after that, I'd think.
Yeah, that seems to be the play at this current time. Just a piece of heart on the Hylian Island. That is another location where if a keep appears up there, it's kind of like one of those, oh geez, that's unfortunate, I have to remember this location now.
Just a little bit of love from the Hobo there.
Yeah, Reror is probably going to head down to the Whirlpool and head straight to the Zora area, going to pick up 4 more items, or at least 3 items, and get the intel on one of them. Because if that's not an item he needs, he's probably not going to pick up that ledge item. Or actually, he's going back over this way.
Taking care of Ice Rod Cave, I guess, seeing as I guess Liminality already did that, but
yes, that is
Eri
correct.
didn't.
Okay, so what do we have in the Waterfall Fairy Cave today? We have a arrow capacity upgrade and the Bombos medallion.
That could definitely come in handy depending on what we need to get into Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, and if those are dungeons that we need to complete, it will be even more important.
Okay, it looks like we just have a bomb capacity upgrade on the ledge of Zora's area. Ooh. Oh, there's the Tower of Hera big key.
Okay. It's kind of nice when you start getting the big keys earlier in the game. For with the Keysanity mode, it's one less thing to deal with if you're starting to see keys early on. They always seem to troll you, so picking them up earlier is a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One of the things I try to tell people when they're first kind of picking up Keysanity is try to think of it just like standard or open mode, just with more barriers. So like, there's a lot of dungeons that have item requirements. You're essentially just adding a couple of locked doors and locked chests into the equation as well. So because of that, you just kind of have to think of the keys as normal progression items as well. So getting those keys, I think, is very, very important because because this is kind of a new mode, a lot of people don't really think about them all the time. So it's always good to get those keys out of the way early so you can just focus on the items you need and kind of the the more familiar progression through the seed in question.
We're dropping off the mushroom with the witch here. This could be something.
It could. Early mushroom can usually signify something, and in this case, maybe not so much, but still, it's a key that could have some use in the very, very late game.
So Eri going through the mini Moldorm cave, gonna grab those boots. Very happy to see those, I'm sure.
And it looks like Liminality is going to be heading towards the Eastern Palace area. Check out what's in Sarashula's hut, and then potentially a play on Eastern Palace to see what's in there.
Yeah, definitely not a bad play, especially without a weapon. You've got 3 chests here in Sahashula's hut, and then, 3 more in Eastern at least that you can get to?
Oh. And we find out that the green pendant is vanilla in this seed. Green pendant is going to be at the Eastern Palace. And in the back we have some bombs, we have some arrows, and we have some love. So nothing major in here, but that heart container is always nice this early on.
Still looking for a couple of progression items to really like kick this seed off. They've got, some like good pieces, but not things that actually get them too much further in the game.
Yeah, that is very, very much true. At this point, progression is more than likely going to be either here in Eastern Palace, or in the Hyrule Castle area, which, okay, Eriror is still going south. There might be a couple of other items he still needs to pick up. But yeah, Liminality is currently in Eastern Palace. Could potentially find something in here.
Oh, interesting play, using the warp to get themselves a little closer to the witch there, but mirror in Eastern Palace, first chest.
Yeah, right now that actually does not really progress the seed, but definitely a great item to have this early on.
I wonder if we're leading towards maybe finding the flute so that they can then get up to Death Mountain, use that mirror to get into Tower of Hera? Something like that, maybe.
That's very, very much possible. Let's see, we got a small key to Castle Tower.
Ooh.
They still got some items to go before that's an option, but still, when you get those Castle Tower keys early...
I don't even want to see those when I'm running.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. It's always kind of a drag to get those and have to make that climb. Okay, still getting some more heart containers. There is one more chest that can be acquired in Eastern, and it looks like Liminality is going for it. This chest is not actually in the current logic, because you do need a lamp before the game expects you to be able to get this, but if you know your dark rooms, you can make it through here, and Liminality looks like it's going to be using some boomerang strats to tell where his location is. Not a bad choice.
Yeah, pretty clean through there.
And a small key to Turtle Rock is the prize.
I don't know where they have left to check other than Hyrule Castle at this point.
There's Hyrule Castle, and for Liminality, he has not been to the desert area yet, and unlike Eriror, they have the big key to Desert Palace.
Yeah, with that in hand, it could be that big chest that has something in it.
So I have a pretty good feeling that after Rybor finishes up with Eastern, he might make the play on Hyrule Castle. He's going to get that big key. Going to be wishing he picked up that sooner, but then there could be, honestly, I feel like at this point, the odds are better for things to be in Hyrule Castle than the Desert Palace big key, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, since we're still seeing some stuff we've already seen, I guess very quickly I'll go over the maps and compasses for Keysanity. They have a slightly new feature in Keysanity that they've been given some extra bonus features in this mode just to make their worth a little more appealing. Maps are actually the only way, aside from beating the dungeons themselves, of telling whether or not a dungeon is a pendant dungeon or a crystal dungeon. You cannot tell by the dungeon music, and it does not tell you on the map beforehand, so you need to grab those maps to actually know whether or not a dungeon is a pendant or crystal. And then you have the compasses, which when you have those, it actually gives you an item count of what items you've collected in that dungeon. These racers are very familiar with this mode. I will not see them going out of their way to get compasses, but if you're new to running Keysanity, definitely a very useful tool to have, just so you can keep count of what items you need to get in dungeons. And if you're missing an item and don't know where to look, it's a good way to kind of track, oh, did I get everything in here? And yeah. So yeah, those are basically the features of those particular items.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that they gave the maps and compasses some worth, you know, because otherwise I think people would just leave them. So.
Definitely agree with that. Okay, so we are about to have something new right here. Gonna see what is in this big chest. We have the hammer.
Woohoo!
That is a very, very important item. That is 1/3 of their Dark World access. They still need the other 2/3 of it, though. No glove upgrade has been found, and neither has the Moon Pearl. And Arrival are going to see what this big key is in the library. Thieves Town.
I think I saw someone call that in chat there. So.
Well, that is a good big key to get early, because that will allow them to essentially not full clear the dungeon, but complete it at the very least when they get to that point.
Yeah, there'll be 7 item spots that they can check as soon as they get into the Dark World, so that's always nice to have.
So yeah, this is very interesting right now. There's really only 3 items left that can be checked at this moment, and they're in here. Okay, there's glove upgrade. That's one of the big items they need, because really at this point they still need Dark World access and Aghanim Tower access to add more locations, because Aghanim Tower is still not in the logic and cannot be accessed yet.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna find either the Moon Pearl or maybe the lamp.
Well, wherever it is, it's going to be in Zelda's cell, I think. But yeah, I think I'm feeling you on that lamp. I think lamp is probably what we're going to see in here. Or not.
Huh. Okay.
Oh, well, they do have the glove upgrade. The back of Escape is available, so...
Yes, right.
I almost overlooked that. Yeah, much.
Liminality checking out the sewers here. This will be another sequence break, at least for now.
Yeah, much like the Eastern Palace chest they got, the one that was beyond the Dark Room, this is not within the logic at this current point, but if the runners are confident in their Dark Rooms, they can definitely get this item early.
Eri having to use bomb strats here without the hammer in hand, so making it a little bit slower as they make their way down into the basement here of Hyrule Castle.
Oh wow, and what a very interesting heart piece to get to refill the hearts. And yep, Liminality going to go to the back of Sanctuary and then check out the back items and escape. We got to get something here at this point. The logic is basically screaming there's something in there, whether it's the lantern or whether it's the Moon Pearl. Or flute, that works too. And there's the Moon Pearl, okay.
All right, this is opening up pretty nicely here.
So yeah, Liminality does actually have some options here. You can go straight to Death Mountain, check that out, complete Hera, or go straight to the Dark World and start looking at some of the items in that region.
This is always a really tough part of your run when you have to make a decision like this. Like, where do I actually go now that I've got all this access?
Yeah, especially when you get two items at literally the same exact time, because both Flute and Moon Pearl open up a whole bunch of different things in different directions. So this is really, I think, the biggest challenge of Keysanity and these Keysanity tournament races is trying to mind game your opponent a little bit, trying to think of, okay, where will they go? Should I follow up just in case there's something good there, or should I try to take a gamble and go the other direction and maybe gain something in that path as well?
That's a very good point. I would find that if I got the same set of items here, I would assume most people would go for Village of Outcasts, so I might make the play up to Death Mountain instead.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing I would be thinking of as well.
It'll be interesting to see what Eri does here, seeing as they don't have the hammer yet. With the flute, they might just go right for Death Mountain because they have no other option at this point.
Yeah, that could be a possible play. And that would be unfortunate, because with that hammer, that would actually unlock a bunch of other stuff, because with that mirror, they can get up to Hera, and they can go to the east side of Death Mountain without the hook shots. So that would be infinitely more chess that Liminality would be able to do over Ryror in this particular situation. But it looks like Liminality is making the play on Dark World, the Village of Outcasts, and the Skullwoods area too.
Skullwoods still seems to be a pretty popular check here early on, especially in Keysanity. There, with the amount of item locations in the dungeon, you've got more value here, possibly, than even in the open or standard mode.
And speaking of value, we have a shovel. That is a fetch quest item. And we also have a small key to Misery Mire.
So Eri is making the play into Desert Palace here. So, I don't know how they came to that conclusion, but good on them, because I mean, getting that hammer is going to be so huge for the rest of their run.
Definitely. Like, I completely agree with that. And I can see why this was a good play for him, because could be thinking, well, this is Uncle Cave where I got this big key. It's an early location. My opponent probably did this. So I'm going to go back there and see if there's anything here, because if they get an early advantage, like the hammer, as it was in this case, that could have been really, really bad. So yeah, very, very nice call.
Oop, Wallmaster got Liminality there. This is a tricky room when you don't have the cane to just throw down on that switch.
Yeah, it is. Thankfully, they do have the boomerang. Boomerang, funnily enough, the boomerang can stun the Gibdos, but the hookshot can't. So using the boomerang here would be a really good play. It can stun the Gibdos and prevent them from moving. Also get a map check in the Dark World from Eriror. We have 2 crystals in Darkness Palace and Ice Palace, with I believe the Ice Palace being a red crystal.
Yes, it was.
Okay, another big location here on Eriror's side. We have a small key to Turtle Rock. We have a small key to Ganon's Tower. A compass to Tower of Hera. A sword, the first sword upgrade. And a small key to Skullwoods.
Not a very hype cave, but the sword is definitely a nice pickup.
Yeah, it allows the runners to actually dash through the Dark World without being knocked back by enemies. You can push the enemies out of the way.
So we're heading towards the pyramid ledge here. We might root in catfish after this, possibly. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, with those flippers, that would be an interesting call. Unfortunately, Eriror taking a death right there. But one thing that I have just noticed looking at the trackers, we have no Palace of Darkness small keys yet. That is kind of surprising.
Yeah, usually if you get those pretty early on, and that's like a general sign that you're heading towards that dungeon at some point, without seeing any, it might be one of the pendant dungeons, and they might not have to go in there.
That's very true. Okay, we have the King's Tomb played, just a piece of heart inside. And yeah, it looks like Eriror is also making the Village of Outcasts play. He did have the Hype Cave check over Liminality, so he does have a weapon going into this. But I imagine Liminality will be making their way over to that location at some point too.
So I thought it was going to be Eriror doing the catfish check, but instead it looks like Liminality is going to be doing it for us.
Yep, that's what it's looking like right now. Is this trip going to be worth it? Nah.
Mm-mm.
For me, I'd be chucking those 3 bombs into the catfish circle, but thankfully, Liminality is a much smarter player than I am and is not wasting that time.
Eri getting trolled a bit here by these Gibdos.
Just opting to use bombos on there, which honestly not too bad. There is actually a full magic restoration inside this next room, so if he needs to grab that, he can. Okay, looks like we have some Village of Outcasts checks here. We have the chess game. Just a piece of heart. Vanilla, I guess you could say.
Take a look at C-shape house next here. 100 rupees. Nothing on the bumper cave ledge there. Just looked like 10 arrows, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, so do not see our runners out to get that item. Just a red rupee in the bombable hut in Thieves Town. Let's see, is Liminality going to go? Yep, he is making the play into Thieves Town. The one difference between Eriror and Liminality in this case is Liminality does not have that sword upgrade yet. Going to have a bit of a tougher fight with Blind when they get to the end.
That is true, but it feels like, given what we've seen so far in the Dark World, that Thieves Town is probably the right play at this point. There's got to be something of value in here.
That's right. Oh, there's our first key to Palace of Darkness in Thieves Town. And yeah, with that big key that they acquired on the library bookshelf, that does put almost everything in Thieves Town available to them except the big chest. That is the one thing they cannot get access to at this point.
Ooh, we're going to be getting our first look at Death Mountain here. Just the first shield upgrade there for Liminality.
And I do actually kind of like this play from Eriror to check Death Mountain, especially since we know that Liminality did not check this. Because if there is some more progression up here, that will give him a slight advantage over Liminality. I don't imagine Liminality will take too long to check Death Mountain after Thieves Town, but still, it could put Eriror in a better position to tackle Thieves Town, especially if he finds that small key. There's Blue Mail up there on Spectacle Rock, so that's more defense.
Yeah, that already helps. We're going to check the ether tablet here, but we can't actually get the item on it yet. And we probably won't ever get it.
Probably not, probably not. Ooh, 300 rupees. Not going to pick that up, though. Don't blame him. 300 should be enough, I think, at this point, especially with many other rupees they'll probably be grabbing throughout this seed. And I think pot is the only major expense that's still left for them.
Meanwhile, up in the top of Thieves Town here, we found another sword, so this will be Liminality's first.
Ooh. Oh, well, I did not pick that up. I was watching Eriror, but yeah, that is good for Liminality. We'll have a much easier fight with Blind. Definitely still possible without the sword, but don't have to worry about using hammer strats at the very least.
For the chat, Airy picked up a sword in the Hype Cave, which Liminality has not checked out yet. Nicely executed bomb jump there for the single arrow. Good call for Eri here to use the hammer strats on Moldor. Makes this fight go a little bit quicker. With a fighter sword, this is a real slog.
Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, that one hit with the fighter sword did put Moldorm into rage mode. You need to be careful to land this last hit. And he does get it, though. Congratulations. And he gets the fire rod.
Ooh, that's what I was looking for earlier, so... And it is a crystal, so this play paid off.
Yeah, definitely. That'll allow potential for Skull Woods to be finished up when he gets back down there. And just a blue pendant from Blind.
So not a whole heck of a lot in Thieves Town other than the swords. So, there could still be something hiding in the big chest, but we won't know about that until maybe much later in the run.
That's true, and I don't know. I don't think I noticed. I don't think Eriror picked up. Obviously, he couldn't get the small chest in the basement, but I don't think he got the lobby chest in Harry either.
I think that is what chat is telling us. That's a strange chest to miss. Hopefully, though, it isn't anything of importance, or they do think to go back there at some point.
Well, yeah, hopefully he does remember that, because the only way that there would be another incentive to go up there is if they have that small key, and we know that small key is on the pedestal, so let's hope that there is nothing in there. For Eriror's sake, anyway.
Nice of Liminality remembering the dig spot here, but just a compass, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got Paradox Cave, the more value side of Paradox Cave. Get a small key to Ice Palace. We get a map to Eastern Palace and a heart container.
This location usually pays off, so that was kind of a little bit lackluster there, I'd say. Whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I'd say with the Ice Palace small key, it kind of bumps it from a 2 out of 10 cave. Just because it's nice to have at least one Ice Palace small key, just to kind of get through there more efficiently and less reliance on the hook shot if you don't have it. But
good point.
yeah.
Ooh, is this a play? Oh, I thought we were heading towards Swamp Palace for a second. I was getting a little excited. Without the hook shot, it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to go into Swamp Palace, but you can still do the front half of it, I suppose. But it would be a bit of a risky play this early on.
Yeah, and there's always a possibility of that hook shot being in Swamp Palace, so it could have been a pretty interesting play that could have really changed this race around.
We'll get some intel from the bomb vendor here. Swamp Palace and Ice Palace are the 5/6 crystals.
Yeah, and we already did know Ice Palace, but yeah, knowing that Swamp Palace is the other one, very, very helpful piece of information. Especially when you consider that we're not actually too far from both of those locations being in logic completely. Got
Bottle
another
of
bottle. Yep.
I thought that Liminality might mirror and check out the first part of Castle Tower there, given that they have the Master Sword now, but they didn't.
Yeah, I did find that interesting. Okay, we already know that's crystal because Rykor picked it up. But yeah, I found that interesting too because yeah, if you mirror from the top of the pyramid, you can go straight to Castle Tower. Could be waiting. Maybe they will be back in the area if they happen to get the super bomb. But people not know about that yet for a little while longer.
I wonder if Eri having the fire rod here, we're maybe seeing the Skull Woods play.
I can see that happening right now. To answer a question in chat, the records for these two runners, they are both 1-0 right now. So they are both fighting for their second win in this tournament.
So we've got both of our runners kind of covering the ground that the other did. We've got Eri checking out all the Village of Outcasts locations and probably going to head into Thieves Town next, while Liminality is going to be doing the Tower of Hera play. We might get a chance to see what is in that one chest in the lobby of Tower of Hera.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that chest, because if that chest ends up being the Titansmiths, that could open up a lot of possibilities for Liminality, especially with checking the dark side of Death Mountain. Ooh, chat also bringing up another good point. Spike Cave is in the logic right now with that Cane of Burma.
Yeah, with the number of hearts that they have, they might be able to make it through with that and the cane. Just 20 rupees. So lucky for Eri, they did not miss out on anything too big there.
But that one chest in the basement, that will remain unchecked till a very, very long point, if at all, because that small key on the pedestal, they're not going to be thinking about that chest until they have those 3 pendants.
It'll be interesting to see what our runners choose to do after they're finished their respective dungeons right now. We're kind of running out of locations. Something has got to break this seed open even more. But is it Spike Cave? I don't know what else we've got. The 1 or 2 chests in Castle Tower. 1 being in logic right now, I guess, not both of them.
Yeah, we're starting to get to that point where dungeon dips might need to be done in this case, and the 2 dungeons that can be dipped at this point are Swamp Palace and Palace of Darkness. Can't get a whole lot of chests. I think Swamp you can get a little more. Palace of Darkness, often known as the Palace of Value, so there could probably be something in there, even though there's only 2 chests that are in logic, or no, 3 chests that are available for logic right now.
It's a tough call because like either one of those dungeons you really don't want to have to double dip or triple dip as it might be, but I don't know. I might go for the Swamp Palace play.
I personally lean more towards Pod. Palace of Darkness, because of the extreme number of keys that it has, you almost have to be in a position where you're going to be prepared to double dip it, or in some cases even triple dip it. So I think there's more likely to be something in that particular dungeon, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, Liminality has their first crystal. No, Liminality got the lobby chest. It was only 20 rupees, so Eririror did not miss out by skipping that chest.
Wow, making that blind fight look easy there. Too bad it's just for the blue pendant.
Unfortunately. And I actually just now realized that, yeah, okay, there were Palace of Darkness keys in Thieves Town and in the Death Mountain area, so there's actually two keys that are currently in Logic, and that's a lot more chests in Pod, so I'm definitely thinking Pod. I was kind of thinking before, but now I'm definitely thinking the progression's going to be in there.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Plus, the time sink required to get into Swamp Palace is like prohibitive. People don't want to do that, so I think Pod is a decent bet.
Yeah, I really, really believe in that. In fact, I believe just last night there was a race where there were literally 5 types of progression items in Palace of Darkness with just 2 small keys available. So it's definitely not a bad idea to give that place a check out when you can, even if you would rather wait until you have more keys.
Yeah, I mean everyone gets a little scared hearing about like soft lock possibilities, and just the key management in general in Pod is tricky. So it puts a lot of people off from actually doing the play. But if you go for it, you can definitely be rewarded for it.
I definitely agree with that.
Well, we're getting a peek at something new. The back half of Skull Woods here, so there could be something in this chest or on Mothula.
That's true. Two more items are available in here. And I don't think Eririr's done it yet, so this may also be a pedestal check for him as well, once he's done with the Skullwoods.
We're also getting a Spike Cave check for the first time here.
Gonna try to make it through as much of the cave as he can before bringing out that cane of Burna. Just to map the Swamp Palace, and unfortunately we already know that Swamp Palace is going to be one of the 5-6 crystals. I don't think Liminality knew that yet, but we definitely knew it.
Mahula not really cooperating here.
No, definitely not. Hugging those spikes. Getting very comfortable with those spikes. But he gets them.
And our fire shield. But the dungeon was a crystal, so worthwhile, at least.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worthwhile. I mean, if you're making progress in a dungeon and it ends up being a crystal dungeon, I say that's good. That's one less dungeon you have to come back to later. And yep, here comes the pedestal check from or no, okay, maybe he already did. Maybe he's already aware of it.
I feel like it was Liminality that checked, but maybe
Yeah.
both runners did. I don't know, we just might have missed it.
Yeah, I know Liminality definitely checked it, but I do not know about Aurora.
Oh yeah, with the fire rod in hand, we'll be able to get through to Landmo at this point.
That's true. That is very, very true. Aurora is kind of in, I guess, dungeon clearing mode right now. And Liminality is making that one play you were suggesting earlier, checking out the front half of Swamp. If the hook shot's in here, that could be very, very big.
Yeah, we'll have to see if this pays off. The cape doesn't do a whole heck of a lot at this point in the run. Bumper Cave has been checked, it's nothing, and they've already got access to Aga Tower if they need to get in there, so maybe not the most useful item.
Chat talking about the possibility of Pedestal being dead, and that's the thing. Pedestal will not be dead for a while, and until runners hit go mode, because if it's a Tower of Hera small key, like we know it is, that chest could have literally anything at this point.
Ooh, Desert Palace was our second pendant, so now we know we've got that, and Eastern Palace was the green pendant, so all pendants are accounted for.
Do you want to know what else we know?
What else? Oh, wow, did we find the Titan's Mitts?
Yeah, the Titan's Mitts in the big chest in Swamp Palace.
Whoa.
So against those very, very stacked Palace of Darkness odds, Swamp Palace was the play, and it looks like Eriror is also making that play now, too.
Yeah, I think it's just the way that pod and keys are these days. People really put it off, so they, even though Swamp Palace is one of those dungeons where ideally you just want to go mode it, but also if you're going to go in, you want to full clear it. When these are your only options, you might go for Swamp for a change.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I think, going to pay off in this case. Looks like before Eriror maybe thinks about that, going to check out the Bombos tablet, get what's ever on here. Just a red rupee. So unless these next two chests in Swamp Palace, if they're the hook shot, if they're not the hook shot, then we cannot continue on with this, at least for right now anyway. there's the Desert Palace small key.
All right, that's 2 more item locations.
And, you know, I just realized, compared between the two runners, Liminality is only going to have a double dip in the Desert Palace, while Eriror is going to have a quadruple dip, because he did not go there initially with the big key. He had to come back for the hammer, just was there to finish off Lamnolis, and is going to get the small key in just a little bit. So that'll be 4 dips in the desert for Eriror if there's something in that small key area.
That is something I don't think you see too often, a quad dip into Desert Palace. But I feel like with those Titans mitts, there's going to be a lot of other locations our runners are probably going to check out first.
Mm-hmm. Right off the bat, Liminality going right back to the Village of Outcasts. This could be a Swordsmith side quest along with Purple Chest. There's the Hammer Pegs, which can also be done. There are a lot of options now that the Titan's mitts are available. Heck, even a dip in the Ice Palace is within the logic at this point.
Yeah, and you know, I think that an Ice Palace play is not a bad call at this point.
No, definitely not.
I'd consider it, yeah.
Yeah, Liminality, it has a small key, does not have the big key, so if Liminality knows the bomb jump, he can logically finish the dungeon and do everything except that big chest.
Ooh, the small key to Thieves Town there. In the Hammer Peg.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's one of the spots you go running back to immediately at this point in the run, but good to have that in case you do have to later on.
With Keysanity, it's tricky because, I mean, you're in the area. If that ends up being the item of progression you need, you're going to wish you would have come back there sooner if that does end up being your last available location. So it's just kind of that battle that you're constantly thinking in your mind. Do I wait because there's other high volume locations I can get right now, or do I get it now because I'm in the area and it looks like Liminality is fleeting away, so we're going to be putting a hold on that big chest for right now. Liminality does not like what he got from that Desert Thief.
Just a cheeky 5 rupee.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's a play. Liminality going to the mire area. Gonna see what's available here. Gonna see what the medallion is for mire. Bombos. Okay, mire. You can dip in there as well.
Yeah, so I guess we'd be missing the Cane of Samaria to complete the dungeon, but a mire play, you know, isn't a bad bet. I mean, that's 7 item locations that you'd be able to check.
Mm-hmm. And there's always that possibility. I keep saying it. There's a possibility that it could be a vanilla Cane of Samaria, so that could be in the dungeon.
Heading back into the Dark World, maybe they are going to take a look inside.
Yep. Equipping that Bombos medallion, we're going to see what is inside Misery Mire. Liminality been very, very strong with their gambles. Making that gamble on Swamp Palace definitely paid off. And Eriror could be making the very same gamble, too. So Eriror not far behind, all things considered.
Sword beam is always nice to have in this room, makes it go a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. It's always nice to still see runners get some use out of those sword beams. I remember thinking as a kid the sword beams were really, really cool. But then later on find out, oh, well, they don't do that much damage, I guess. But still using them for the blind fight can be very helpful. Using them for that Wizrobe room, it still has use, even in speedrunning.
So this will be the first time that our two runners are in the same dungeon at the same time in like quite some time.
Yeah, that's true. They were doing kind of back and forth strats for a while. They were in Hera and Thieves Town on the same time in, like, I guess, parallel dimensions at that point. But yeah, they're actually in the same dungeon at this point. Ooh, a big key to Palace of Darkness in the Misery Mire vanilla big key chest location. I do actually like the way Liminality is routing this, kind of going to the left side first and then working their way to the right side, so that way if they come across that Cane of Samaria, they can just very quickly and easily walk to the boss from a very short distance.
Yeah, it's generally how I would read it as well, so I like the play for sure.
Okay, small key to Turtle Rock.
I think that gives us all 4.
Yes, I believe so. Yep, that is all 4 Turtle Rock keys for Liminality.
Just waiting on that Cane of Samaria now, and that might become play as well.
Mm-hmm.
With or without the Ice Rod.
And they still need that big key for Turtle Rock as well, so that's another thing that's going to be on their minds.
Yes.
A lot of things to think of, but again, vanilla items can be in their vanilla dungeons, so... Okay, that is actually going to do it for Misery Mire. Aside from that small key to Turtle Rock and that big key to Pod, not a whole lot of progression there.
No, not really, but with those Titans mitts, there still are a few options on the table for both of our runners.
Mm-hmm. Ice is still a play, Pod is still a play, there's some chests they can get on Dark Death Mountain. And there's the hook shot in Desert Palace.
Whoa. So now we can go back and finish off Swamp Palace. Ice Palace also becomes a lot easier. So things are really opening up here. And Dark Death Mountain is now, all chests are now accessible. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of things open up for our runners here.
Yeah, I think at this point that is the play. But first, Liminality gonna take out the rest of Desert Palace because I don't think Liminality is aware this is a pendant dungeon just yet. But at the same time, they may need pendants because we don't know if that small key to Hera is going to be necessary or not.
And I don't think that Eriror checked out the right side of Desert Palace with that small key, so they don't have their hook shot yet.
Yeah, he is not making that check, and that is very, very unfortunate. And I understand he wants to avoid that quadruple dip if possible. Unfortunately, that will be required of him to do so.
It's always a bit of a slow land mollusk fight when you've only got the Master Sword.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, ran out of the fire rod shots there, which would have sped the fight up a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, you're just going to have to work with it.
Yep.
Okay, so at this point, there are only two things preventing that Hera small key from being in the logic, and that is the lantern and the bow, because that will open up... Oh, and the big key to Eastern Palace, because that will open up Eastern Palace, and that small key, you know, the further we get into this, that possibility of that not needed isn't exactly going down. That could still come back and be important in this race.
Yeah, having not found Keysanity or the Ice Rod, and possibly whatever medallion is needed to get into Turtle Rock, there are a couple items on the table that could be in that basement chest.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And looks like Eriror is heading over to Palace of Darkness, going to make the play that I really wanted to see earlier. There could still be something in here, though, so that might potentially change things up a little bit. May not make the hookshot skip for right now as important, but we'll have to see. Right now, though, I feel like Liminality is making a lot of forward progress using those items he just got to continue to clear out more sections of the game. And there's the Ice Rod in Palace of Darkness.
Ooh, wow, all right. It's always nice to just pick up the Ice Rod as early as possible. It's one of the items that is a constant troll to runners, so whenever you pick it up and you need to go into Turtle Rock, earlier is always better.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. It's the one item where, in some seeds, it literally only has one location where it cannot be, and that is on Trinex. In other cases, it could be literally anywhere in the game. In this case, we know that it won't be in Ganon's Tower, because we'll need it to beat Turtle Rock to get into Ganon's Tower. But in other seeds where Turtle Rock is a pendant, that is a huge, huge troll. So, oh, we got the Keysanity from Eriror, by the way.
Yes, we did. So what I think this will do, unfortunately for Eriror, is like move them towards Turtle Rock like sooner rather than later, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's going to take them further away from finding that hook shot.
Yeah, for sure. At this point, I was just ready for that big key to be for Turtle Rock, but it was for Ice Palace, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, looking like it's really pushing Turtle Rock really hard on a Ryror right now. And he's going to be going up there without hookshot if that is his next play. And that could be very detrimental, because when Liminality gets those items, he'll be able to check out way more things up here, and just in general make routing a little more efficient.
Picking up another pod small key in Swamp Palace will allow them also to get even further into the dungeon when they do decide to dip it. Finding the big key to Eastern Palace in Palace of Darkness there.
Now let's see the bow in here too. Oh my god! I was kidding! I was joking!
Whoa! What a call.
Oh, I've seen that happen way too many times, especially in that chest.
So I'm trying to figure out where the lamp is in this logic at this point.
Maybe, maybe Turtle Rock, maybe
Yeah.
Swamp. So yeah, Pod has been quite loaded, considering the circumstances. I just feel at this point, like, even despite that though, Liminality is making more forward progress, because I don't think a Ryror can finish this dungeon right now.
Now, I guess the bow does give him these two chests on the right side, which kind of helps, but
Yeah.
Skullwood's big key, that's not really too hype.
Not really, but that's 3 big keys in one dungeon. Okay, is this an Ice Palace play on Liminality's side?
Looks like it.
Okay, interesting. Made even more interesting by the fact that technically a Ryror would have a more efficient dip of Ice Palace, because he does have that big key. He would be able to check everything. So if there is something in that big chest that could even things out a little bit, but a Ryror needs to go back to Desert and get that hook shot.
Yeah, and between our two runners, we're actually running out of items that are required to finish this seed. We're maybe only missing the Turtle Rock big key at this point. And we haven't seen the Ganon's Tower big key, is that right?
Yes, we still need Ganon's Tower big key, we still need Turtle Rock big key. If they want to stay within the logic, they're also going to need that lamp too, but they've been doing pretty good on Dark Rooms so far. Although I say that, and Misery Mire Dark Room is still on the table, so...
Yuck.
Yep, that's my thoughts exactly. Oh, and the possibility for Medallion for Turtle Rock, too. Okay, it looks like we have an Armos fight now. Does get bullied a little bit, but does get the fight done. And there is the green pendant. All 3 pendants have been acquired for Ryror right now.
Be able to turn that one in right away to Sahasrahla, and then do we get the Tower of Harris basement check?
Well, I mean, he can go to Death Mountain, so I'd imagine that could be what he's thinking, but just get that hook shot first, please. Sashlala can't have the lamp just because Eastern Palace was the green pendant. and they'd expect you to have that for the logic, so you could not have the lamp in this particular case. It is just a map, though. I do like what chat's saying right now, though. The map of Desert Palace kind of has Sashirala pointing Eriror back to Desert, which is where he does need to go.
Hopefully he'll take the hint there.
Hopefully. And yep, on Liminality's side, all of the bottles have been found in the game.
That's pretty rare. I don't think I've had a run in quite a while that's had all 4 bottles in it. Getting our first look at the castle tower here.
And yeah, this is another thing that Liminality skipped out on when they were here earlier. And a big key to Turtle Rock.
Whoa!
Once again, another good news, bad news situation, because that'll point him towards Turtle Rock, but he does not have the hook shot to check Hookshot Cave. He can't make the torch section in Turtle Rock a little faster. Just, again, so many things back and forth for these two runners.
So it's kind of unfortunate for Eri here that they keep finding things that can actually move them forward, because they're just not hitting that progression block that you kind of almost need to kind of send you back to a location like the Desert Palace right side.
Yeah. A lot of times I try to compare Keysanity to kind of the shape of an hourglass, where you kind of get like all these items to start out with that'll lead you in a whole bunch of different directions. But then you reach a point where there's just one location and one item that'll continue the seed. I want to say that for this particular seed, the logic was kind of making the Titansmith that item.
Yeah.
But then, like, right after that Titansmith, everything else just kind of opened up, and they're just kind of trying to collect everything that's available to them to get in that go mode state. Okay, we have a Master Sword Cold Stare fight from Liminality right now.
Gonna make use of that green goo that they picked up here in Ice Palace.
Okay, just a hard piece from Cold Stare and the other 5/6 crystal. Meanwhile, Eriror going to go into Ice Palace as well. We'll be able to check one more extra location that Liminality did not get to check, because he has the big key to Ice Palace. So if there is something important in that big chest, that could also really just change the whole dynamic of this race.
Looks like Liminality might be doing Skull Woods next. Another quick clear.
Question from chat: where was the hook shot? The hook shot is in the small key section of Desert Palace. Unfortunately, it's a case where already Arrivor has triple dipped Desert Palace compared to Liminality's double dip. So if he goes back in the Desert Palace, that would be a quadruple dip. That's probably the reason why he's putting off that check for as long as he has been.
So while we're seeing a bit of dungeon cleanup here, just a quick shout out to our runners for putting on a great show here. So give them a follow if you can. They really appreciate it. And a shout out to our tracker as well, Baliame, who's been keeping it real here for us, keeping it in check so that we can remember items that have been found and whatnot. Tracking is not easy, and we really appreciate the work they do.
Yeah, definitely. For commentators, we're watching two different races, so there's always going to be those points where we're watching one screen and the other, something big happens on the other screen, and the trackers stay up to date with that. So really, really nice to have them around. Really, really great individuals who have donated so much of their time for these matches. And honestly, I don't think they get thanked enough, so definitely thanks to them for all the work they do.
I'm really wondering where this lamp is. It might. Yeah, it seems like it's got to be in Turtle Rock at this point.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Yep, that's what it's looking like. You know, Mothula not being super friendly to Liminality either, really kind of just staying in that corner.
But manages to take him down. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice fight. Okay, so we have a big moment of truth coming up for Arrivor here, I believe. He's getting ready to check that big chest that's available to him. Because he doesn't have the hook shot, he needs to make this bomb jump, though. Thankfully, it's not too bad. Makes it over just fine, and we'll see what's in that big chest very, very shortly. A small key to Dark Palace. That's not... That's kind of a weird acquisition right there. Because he got the big key in Darkness Palace, and he did the hammer jump, so he doesn't need as many keys, but...
Yeah, still not a bad pickup, though. I guess that gives them the one key that they will need to get through the dungeon if they choose to not check any more chests, because I think they used them all up first time around.
That is true, or at least Aurora did. Liminality has not made that play into pod at this point.
We're going to get our first look at what medallion is required here for Turtle Rock.
It's Bombos.
Of course.
So right now, the only item that we need for a potential go mode, assuming they know dark rooms, is that Ganon's Tower big key.
Yeah, that is it for this seed.
I would like to know where that lamp is, though. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about that. Maybe Liminality will find it in just a moment. There's Quake. And Silvers. Okay, that's good. That's a good find.
Right. Especially only sitting on Master Sword right now for the Ganon fight coming up. It's going to be nice to have silver arrows in hand.
Very true. Like, we do not have any intel on where the Tempered or Gold Sword will end up being, so that is good. And look at where Eriror is going right now, making the right play. Also, Liminality getting the Ether Medallion. Would have been covered for Turtle Rock no matter the case, but Liminality does not have the Cane of Samaria yet.
Going back into Desert Palace might just save Eri here.
Yeah, for sure. It's like this whole time we were wondering, okay, Liminality is going to do more on Dark Death Mountain, but now Eriror can do way more. Having the hook shot can actually get inside Turtle Rock, finish Turtle Rock, and just in general, just really turn that play around.
Looks like they'll be heading into finish off Swamp Palace first here.
Not too bad of a play as well. Want to make sure to take care of all the dungeons they can on the ground. On the off chance you'll find the progression from Mire, and then just can go straight to Turtle Rock and finish it up proper. But unfortunately, well, actually he can finish Mire. He has the cane, but no lamp still. But... oh, interesting.
Hopefully, Liminality chooses to mirror into Agate Tower here because they need that Turtle Rock big key.
They do. Small key to Misery Mire and a small key to Ganon's Tower inside the Pyramid Fairy location.
Nothing too exciting. Okay, good. We're getting the mirror out, so this is good.
Okay, yeah, this is good from Liminality. So, well, aside from that mirror bonk, anyway. Yeah, after this castle tower check, Liminality needs to head over to get some items.
It's probably good that Liminality doesn't have the Cane of Samaria and is picking up this Turtle Rock key now. They'll know that they have to get up there, but seeing as they're missing one of those items that might throw them towards Pod right now.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Liminality is heading back to the village of outcasts. Is he gonna check that Thieves Town?
I can't see what else they might be doing, so probably.
Wants to make sure that like they don't leave a stone unturned, which I do not blame them for thinking that, especially in Keysanity.
I mean, it could still be the lamp.
That's yeah, I believe that's true. Yeah, that could still be the lamp. I don't think that key was behind Darkroom.
Missing on those fire rod shots there against Argus. That's a tough one to hit.
Yeah, it is. Argus moves really, really fast here, so sometimes it can be a little difficult to get those shots in. But he does get Argus down anyway. That will give him only his third crystal. It does not seem like he only has that few crystals, but wait, hold on. Let me do a recount. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no, he has 4 now. My bad. But yeah, still, like for this point in the race, that's not as many as you think there would be.
And just the big 20 in the big chest there.
Unfortunately. And Liminality is making their way back to, or going to pod for the very first time. They will get a lot of items from this play.
Yeah, picking up the Keysanity here will hopefully send them right to Turtle Rock almost immediately, because it seems like the dark rooms are what's putting Liminality off, and they're not going to find the lamp in the first part of pod. So as long as they go right for Turtle Rock after this, I'm pretty sure that the lamp is in one of those first chests in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of pinpointing that to be right now, because it can't be a mire at this point. There's only one chest left, and it's beyond the dark room. And yeah, I think it's got to be in that early part of Turtle Rock. Okay, Liminality getting their ice run. Oh, I know where Eriror is going. Before he makes the play on Death Mountain, he's going to grab that Hera small key.
Oh boy. I guess the only thing that could be in that basement chest now is probably the Ganon Tower big key.
Yes. There it is. Small key to Tower of Hera. Okay, so if Liminality knows how to do the bomb jump, or the hammer jump, as it's more traditionally called, he will be able to get the bow, and we'll be picking up these big keys that are also in the dark areas as well. So at that point, I think a pretty clear picture will be pointing to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, which is probably where the rest of the pod keys are hanging out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one of those pod keys hanging out in the Skull Woods big chest.
And Eriror is saving quitting. He is going to Mountain Cave. Okay, so this is, I think, going to be the big reveal of what's inside Turtle Rock after, more than likely, the basement check of Hera. Oh, actually, first, let's do some Dark World stuff.
So Liminality picking up their bow. But being out of keys and without the lamp, probably going to be heading up to Turtle Rock pretty soon. But doing the right side of Palace of Darkness, seeing as they got the bow. So Liminality with a bow in hand is choosing to take a dip into Eastern Palace here, finish this one off. Can't say as I blame him.
Yeah, might be going for that Hera small key as well.
This is pretty exciting. For the first time in quite a while, we're going to see something new with Eriror jumping into Turtle Rock.
That's right. Gonna hold off on that Tower of Hera play just for right now. That honestly could be really smart because at this point, I think Eriror has figured out that the Ganon's Tower Big Key is the only thing that could be locked in that Hera location, because I think he has everything else except for that and the lamp, and we know the lamp probably going to be in here because it can't be on a location after Pedestal since you logically needed it for Eastern Palace. So Eriror just might be putting that off because he knows that he will not need that big key just yet.
Well, not in these first three chests here, but we got Chain Chomp, the Lava Island, Mimic Cave, and then the big chest as well.
And I believe the roller room right after the
That's
big chest
right.
too. So yeah, there's still possibilities for the lamp. And at this point, yeah, we're going to be seeing probably everything in Turtle Rock. They do not want to come back here after they've spent so much time getting all the items just to make it through all the way.
Looks like soon enough we're going to see both of our runners here in Turtle Rock. Liminality making their way up here.
Yeah, that looks to be the case. Nothing on Lava Island.
Finding out that those pokies can be taken out with the fire rod in one shot was a real game changer for me, I gotta say.
Yeah, those Pokies, especially with only Master Sword, they can take a lot of hits, so it's honestly good just to kind of get them out with one swipe of that fire rod. So definitely understand using that as a way to get rid of those as quickly and swiftly as possible. And in Mimic Cave, we have the lamp. There it is.
It is.
So they've done it. They've avoided the possibility of doing a Mire Dark Room.
So with only the Ganon's Tower big key left to find, there's not a bad chance that it will be actually in Ganon's Tower.
That's true. It could definitely be there. I think chat's definitely pushing for more of a Hera basement place for that key.
Yeah, okay, chat. All right, we'll see what happens.
And see, that's not really a terrible place, because at that point you could almost just consider Hera as being part of Ganon's Tower, because it's in the same exact location. It's right there once they get done with Ganon's Tower, if they won't even go there first. Makes sense, makes sense. I do have to say, though, I do like how Eriror has been really kind of covering his bases while going through this seed, because he does have that small key to Hera Basement on the off chance that is something. Liminality is up here without that key at this point. Now, he will have to go back down for Misery Mire, but still, just the fact that Eriror does kind of have that base covered is really shows that he's gone through the seed very efficiently, despite the kind of early jump in the lead from Liminality.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Being thorough definitely helps in Keysanity, especially because you usually are going to have to be checking all dungeons, and you don't want to miss anything along the way because it could really, really ruin your race.
Mm-hmm. Because when you look at what Liminality has to do, there's like one loose end that he has that Eriror doesn't. In addition to that small key at Hera, there's also the big chest in Ice Palace that could also be weighing heavily on Liminality's mind right now.
Very true.
Now, thankfully in this Trinex fight, both runners have plenty of potions they can use, so they're not going to be in danger of having to mirror out, but it looks like Eriror won't even need to use those potions.
Nice
Very
hammer.
nice.
Yeah, nice hammer on Trinex there.
Yeah, second phase of the fight was really, really good. First phase, a little messy in places, but still nice to have a really strong finish on the second part.
So now we've just got cleaning up Misery Mire by finishing it off. Really, it's just the fight with Vitreous and a little look through pod for that Ganon's Tower big key, and we'll be on our way, kind of.
Also, I think Liminality is missing something.
Oh no!
Yeah, kind of dark in this room, wouldn't you say?
I would say, yeah. That's a really odd play to skip Mimic Cave.
Yes, definitely. And like you got to think, with Mire readily available when he was on the ground, probably putting it off because of that dark room. Just the fact that he will not have it, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, Eriror did not check Tower of Hera yet, but it's not too big of a deal because he'll have to come back up the mountain anyway, and it's right there where Ganon's Tower is, so honestly it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to check it just right then and there if he's going to be back up there anyway.
Taking the intentional death there to refill a bit of life after a pretty rough laser bridge.
Yeah, you want to save those potions, especially for Trinex, when you could definitely use them at that point, because you run out of magic pretty quickly in the Trinex fight, especially when you have no half magic upgrade. Meanwhile, we have the Vitreous fight from Eriror. Having those silver arrows will make this fight not very concerning. All the eyeballs are already gone, just takes 2 more shots on the big eyeball, and there we go, solid fight. Okay, Eriror is heading back to Palace of Darkness, going to be clearing this. He has all 6 keys, so all the chests will be able to pick up, and he will also get his last crystal to open up Ganon's Tower. Go for it.
Oh, good with the Trinex fight there. But when, if at all, is Liminality going to go back and check that Mimic Cave?
I have no idea. I am still very much concerned about the, again, just putting off Mire earlier just because of that lamp, and now had a chance to grab it, did not grab it, so we'll see what he makes, what play he makes right now. Okay, I think he remembered. Let's see, we spent so much time talking about the Misery Mire dark room. They would also have to go through this Palace of Darkness dark room without the lamp too, if he did skip that lamp. And this room, even though it can be made easier with the fire rod, is still not a lot of fun to go through.
That is true. So I looked away for a few seconds there. Eri didn't check any of the other chests here in Palace of Darkness.
No, but I think he can very easily pick them up anyway when he mirrors out or gets out of here, so that could still happen.
There's what, maybe only one that they haven't checked at this point? It's that one in the Hellway or whatever it is?
Yeah, there's one in the Harmless Hellway, and I don't think the big key chest has been checked either. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but...
I feel like Liminality might have checked that one, and it, I think, was maybe just a piece of heart.
Maybe. Okay, seems like, yeah, okay. I don't think Eriror has, though.
Right.
And there we go. Liminality does pick up the lamp after all.
Probably kicking themselves a bit, because that would have been an easy check on, you know, on your way through the Turtle Rock first time.
Yeah, I've definitely been in that position before with that Mimic Cave check, and when you forget about it and you realize after the fact, it just feels like you wasted so much time by not checking that.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, Palace of Darkness has been fully cleared out for Eriror. What he is looking for now is most likely on Death Mountain, whether it's in the Light World, in the Tower of Hera basement, or in Ganon world. We are almost 2 hours in, and neither runner are in go mode yet. We are still looking for that big key.
Yeah, and once you hit the 2-hour mark and you see that your opponent hasn't finished, you're expecting them to finish like any minute now. So looking for that dot done, I'm sure both of our runners are a little bit nervous.
Mm-hmm. And like, this has been really a 100% seed, aside from the fact of Ganon's Tower anyway. Because I imagine once they find the key, they're not checking anymore. But every dungeon, I want to say, has been picked clean at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, chat making a very good point. It's 22 chests versus 1. Probably we're going to be going for the 22 chests first, but still, with the fact that no one has finished in this race yet, Eriror could be thinking, well, maybe this is trolly. Maybe there is something in that Tower of Hera chest. We'll just have to see what he makes.
But chat, if you want to throw some guesses in, we have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower that this could be the big key. And if you think it's not in Ganon's Tower, maybe put a 0 in instead. Let's see.
I'm going to go with the 23rd chest, the chest that got lost in the parallel dimension that ended up in Tower of Hera.
Nice.
I really think it could be that, because they threw Hera pretty early at you in the logic, and the pendants were readily available, so...
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see that at this point.
Meanwhile, Liminality finishing off Vitreous and is going to hustle over to Palace of Darkness to try and catch up.
If he hustles and manages to get on top of Death Mountain and happens to check Hera, and that does be the play, that could be huge. That could be one last race shift in this run.
Well, not in any of the right side chests here.
Okay, so those are not going to be our goal. I think Liminality still needs to get that Skullwood's big chest, and I think that was a pod key too, so I think that is smart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just realized the other pod small key is an Ice Palace in the big chest.
Yeah.
Okay, so Liminality is a bit further behind. Oh yeah, he doesn't need key 6 though. That's right, because he did do the hammering up, so okay, he's fine. But that still is that's another chest that's available, so we'll see.
All right, we are 12 chests into Ganon's Tower here, and we have still not seen that big key yet.
Hmm. Half the chests are remaining. Oh, there it is.
Chest 13, I guess?
Yes, it'd be 13 because he did see the torch items. So yeah, that would be 13. Really wanted to see it inside that Tower of Hera location, but it's okay.
Yeah.
He is checking some more chests, though. I think it's for a sword upgrade at this point, because that would make things a little easier in the long run. And there we go. Okay, he's ready. Good call. Good call to go one room further. And hey, he also has 4 chests up here, too. That could also give him the butter sword, too, as well.
Taking care of these mimics without too much trouble here.
Bet he's very happy that he found those silvers.
No doubt.
But yeah, in this particular seed, Pedestal was not dead until quite literally a little after the 2-hour mark. So that's how crazy, how much insanity, or Keysanity, I guess you could say, these seeds can really give you.
So Eri entering the gauntlet here.
Anyway, while we are climbing Ganon's Tower at the moment, once again, major shout out to both of our runners for this race. Going through a seed like this, a seed that I wouldn't say was really that bad, just a seed that really required you to quite literally check everything in every location in the game. So definitely major props to them for hanging on in this race for as long as they have, as they're kind of approaching the end here. Also, again, major shout-outs to our tracker, Bailame, for keeping track of everything, keeping those items up to date, all the keys up to date. It's really difficult to track these Keysanity races, so it's always great to have an extra set of eyes that can keep track of all the things that we may not be able to see.
So Liminality making quick work of Helmasaur there, and will be also heading towards Ganon's Tower. We hope.
We hope. Again, Pedestal still open, and that big chest in Ice Palace. But looks like Liminality is making the right play after grabbing some potions.
Troll Dorm 2 proving to be no match for Eriror here.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, Oldorm was being quite feisty in the Tower of Hera variant, so nice that he kind of mellowed out a little bit, at least for the Ganon's Tower fight.
Yep.
Okay, getting ready for the Aghanim 2 fight here. Ooh, almost a triple, but still, a double is very nice to get. Another double.
Very nice.
Ooh, 3 doubles.
Nice quick 3 cycle there.
Mm-hmm. And right as Liminality enters Ganon's Tower, Eriror is entering the Ganon fight, so this race is about decided, folks. Reminder, both these runners are 1-0 in the Keysanity tournament, so that whoever wins this will get their second win. Thankfully, both runners will not be quite out of it. Eriror will have an advantage going into round 3 or week 3. Liminality, as long as he's able, or whoever, if there some unfortunate happens and Eriror loses, probably not at this point, but whoever loses this match, they still have that tiebreaker race they can work towards at the end of the 5th week. So neither runner is out of the tournament yet, and with the strong showings that they've had here, I would not be surprised to see them go further.
Already well into phase 3 here, almost into the final phase.
Okay, just needs 4 silver arrow hits on Ganon, and setting him up really nice right here for 3rd hit. 1 more hit to go. And there it is. Really, really fast work at phase 4. Nice job. And Eriror does finish this race in first place with a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 48 seconds. Although it was not a sub 2-hour run, still a very, very good time considering all the stuff that he had to cover. Basically combed every single dungeon aside from Ganon's Tower, and aside from that small chest in Hera to get all the items that he has at his disposal right now. And it does look like we have Eriror in the setup room. He is going to jump in for a very quick interview. Let's see. Eriror, welcome, welcome. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling after that seed?
Really, I don't know, I was nervous the entire time because I felt my early routing was super off. And I was... Yeah, it's always the GT Bicky, you know? You never know for sure.
Yeah, really. And I guess one question that a lot of us had on our minds, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you this. What do you think was in that Hera basement chest?
I have no idea. I mean, I picked it up just in case it wasn't in GT, because then I could link it together with Spy Cave, then it was like pretty much there. Or Thieves Town Big Chest, or Catfish. I guess those were the only spots I had left. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna pull it. I'm pretty sure the audience would like it, and if it's necessary, it's necessary, and that would be cool. But kind of a shame.
Yeah, because quite literally, that pedestal dream did not die until literally just a few minutes ago when you found that big key. So everyone was speculating, you know, that big key could be in that small chest. The pendants were very accessible early on, so yeah, that did not leave anyone's mind the entire race. And quite literally, both you and your opponent covered everything. There was so much that was not left unturned. I feel like every item except that small chest was even looked at. So, very nice job on just combing through everything in the time you did. It wasn't a sub 2-hour seed, but still, 2 hours and 10 for basically 100% is impressive. So, good job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so, I don't know. Was powder found ever?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so I assume that's in GT as well. My half magic was like nowhere to be found either.
Yeah.
There were a lot of crucial things. I was like, I would really like to have this. Like swords, for example. It was totally worth it to check an extra room in GT.
Absolutely, yeah. Good play.
Unfortunately, that's a check that your opponent did not make just now, because he is actually ascending the gauntlet with only Master Swords, so going to have a little bit of a tougher fight, but still
there's 3 chests left. There's 3 chests left in the gauntlet that I didn't check.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. But yeah, you were talking about your early game, and yeah, actually, I would say, at least from what I observed anyway, I feel like Liminality did have a stronger early game, did make some slightly more important gambles, went into Swamp before you did, got those Titans mitts, but really, you were not too far behind, all things considered. In fact, I'd say your Palace of Darkness, you went there first, so you got the bow and all that other stuff that you found in there before your opponent. And you also made the Turtle Rock play fairly early as well. So even though the early game didn't really please you as much, your late game routing was extraordinary. You had all your bases covered, and you went through everything very thoroughly. So that's one of your biggest strong suits, I'd say, in this race.
Yeah. Late game, I wasn't too unhappy, especially the pod play. Pod, even with 2 keys, as you saw, it's totally worth it. With 2 keys, you can check out 9 chests without the bow, and then if you get the bow, it's another 2. So it's just so dense, and even though it costs you like a minute or a minute and a half to get there, I think you don't need to be too scared to dip in there early.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. How'd you feel about your quadruple dip of Desert Palace, though?
That was terrible. That was absolutely... See, that's the point where I thought I was super behind.
Yeah,
The first... I really like doing Dam into Agina early game, because Agina usually holds something important. It didn't this time. And then you can link... Well, this time I thought, like, okay, I can check out Desert. Cost me a bit, but at least I know what I can get there. Of course, nothing on ledge, nothing in the chest. Then once you get the big key, it was like, okay, awkward. And then you get a fire source later. That's super awkward. And then I totally forgot about the Desert small key right after I did the first mire dip. And, well, that was the hook shot.
We were wondering, okay, when is he going to go back for that? He really needs that before he goes to Dark Death Mountain and starts clearing that stuff up. But sure enough, I believe right before you made that play, you did go back there. So good job remembering just in time, because that could have been a lot of time that you would have maybe lost checking there first.
Yeah, definitely. Although it was pretty beautiful that I found the other 2 medallions right before I entered TR, even though they were completely unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
And up in the top of Ganon's tower there, we found the other sword. So Liminality is going to be going into the Ganon fight with Tempered.
That's nice.
That
because Master Sword Ganon is absolutely terrible.
It is, yeah. But yeah, definitely, like, seriously, strong race from both of you. It was honestly not really that clear who was going to win for a very large part of it. I think it really just came down to who went into Turtle Rock first, and at that point it was you. And unfortunately, Liminality skipped Mimic Cave on his first go-around, realizing after he finished, oh wait, there is something else there, so he did go back and get the lamp, thankfully. But yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I knew I was in virtual, like, Ganon Tower mode once I entered TR, but Mystery Mire is so awkward without the lamp. That's like the only thing I was really afraid of. And then when it was a Mimic Cave, I was really happy. But I was like, it's not gonna be a Thieves Town big chest, is it? Because I can probably do Mystery Mire in the dark, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Your opponent did check Thieves Town big chest. I don't think it was anything important or relevant. Maybe a small key that you didn't need at the end of the day. But yeah, you avoided checking that.
$185 out of 216.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, take away the Ganon's Tower items, there's not much left.
Yeah, but considering you did check 185 locations in only 2 hours and 10 minutes, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm not too unhappy. I was, again, early game execution was off, but later on I got a bit more confident and I blazed through the dungeons. The dungeon execution was actually pretty okay, but overworld I got caught by everything. Especially my awesome pyramid check. That didn't really pan out.
So now with this win, you're 2-0. So that's got to feel kind of good that you're moving forward and you keep on winning, which is good.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people will have said this by now, but like, okay, I achieved my goal for this tournament, which is 2 wins, but I kind of caught the taste of victory now. I really hope I can at least get to 4-1 for the spectacular playoff race.
Yeah, the playoff race is going to be pretty nuts, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, the opposition is only going to get tougher from this point onward, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, after your gameplay in this particular seed, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are interested in seeing how you will progress. So definitely best of luck in those matches.
Thank you very much. I'll be looking forward to it myself as well.
So Liminality just one hit away here.
And he got him.
Nice.
And Liminality does finish in second place with a time of 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 34 seconds. A little less than 10 minutes after our first place finish, but still amazing job. A lot of map coverage, a lot of dungeon coverage, and that's still a really, really good time. So definitely get your GGs in chat. This was a very, very entertaining race to watch. I'm going to see if he's going to hop in for an interview here. Hello, Liminality. GG. Congrats on the finish of this race. How are you feeling after all of that?
I don't know. I think there were only 2 locations I didn't check.
It was a pretty thorough clear, that's for sure.
Yeah, one of the things we asked your opponent is, all things considered, what do you think was in that Tower of Hera basement chest? The one that was blocked off by the pedestal item?
I'm going to guess pod key 6.
Actually, no. That was in the Ice Palace big chest, so that was not what it was. But yeah, like, it got to the point where around 2 hours and almost 5 minutes into the run, pedestal was not dead, because that small key could have led to that Ganon's Tower big key at that point. So it was really interesting and really nice to see both of you, how you routed this, and how you combed through so much of the map. Almost all the dungeons were 100% cleared and combed through. If there was even one chest left behind, one of the other runner basically cleared it out too. So very thorough seed from both of you, and really good times considering how much you looked through.
Yeah, I just wish I had realized when I went into Eastern that the only thing I could have gotten from Eastern would have been the GT big key, and I should have just swapped over to Turtle Rock at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you had made the play on Turtle Rock at that point, it would have been a pretty close race, I think. But that's kind of the nature of, Keysanity and Randomizer in general. Is you make a gamble on something and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it also hurts to forget Mimic Cave exists and getting too focused on Turtle Rock.
Oh, we were shaking our heads when you ran right past that.
Yeah, but you remembered it. You remembered it after the fact. You didn't descend the mountain and check other places before coming back. So, you definitely made more time than other runners like myself didn't do, and they just left the mountain completely. So you remembered, and that's what's important. And honestly, like we were talking about this with your opponent early on. You had like an amazing early game. Getting Desert Palace done in only 2 dips. Your opponent, unfortunately, did the quad dip of Desert for all the items. But you did that in 2 dips. You were the first to go to Swamp Palace and find the Titansmith there. You had a really, really strong start. And at one point, it literally came down to you needing to find the Canis of Maria and your opponent needing to go back to Desert for that hook shot. And at that point, it was just kind of whoever went to that one location first. In this case, unfortunately, it was your opponent, but you were honestly not too far behind. This was a race that wasn't decided until the very late stages, that's for sure.
Well, I'll look forward to watching the recording. And Ari, good luck in round 3.
Yeah, same to you. GG. I'm just checking what the Tower of Hero basement has very quickly. I'm actually kind of intrigued now.
Yeah, definitely let us know. We know that it's not going to be the level 4 sword because Liminality, if you actually went one room further into the rando room, you would have actually found the other sword upgrade. So all swords would have been accounted for. The last two are in Ganon's Tower.
Not worth.
But there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, even though you do take a loss here, you are actually not out of this tournament yet, Liminality. You are only 1-1, but if you win your next 3 races, you can still get in for that. It's going to be a very stacked tiebreaker for certain, but you are not out, so definitely keep it up the good work because you did show some very, very good promise in this particular race, and I'm sure everyone's very interested in see how you will perform in those next 3 races.
Oh yeah, admittedly, I expect to go 1-4 at this point, but I don't care. I will go 1-4, and I'm playing every single one of these matches.
That's a great attitude to have. So definitely, best of luck to you.
Yeah, so Hero was 3 bombs.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah,
of course.
Right.
So yeah, at that point, Powder, half magic, and basically everything of that nature was in Ganon's Tower at that point, because I think quite literally everything else was combed through 100%. So that's where everything else was.
Yeah. GT loaded as always.
Well, with 27 chests, not surprising, I suppose.
Very true, very true.
Okay, so before we sign off for today, do either of you have anything else to say to wrap this up before we kind of move on to the other schedules that we have on the speed gaming front?
Not at the moment, no. It was a fun race. It was a pretty fun seat, to be honest.
Yeah, with the exception of trying to find that 5th pod key, it didn't feel really that trolly at all.
No, not at all. I'm pretty sure that, at least it feels like there was a very logical way to route it, that you didn't really have to double dip a whole lot. So, it was a nice seat, pretty gentle. Aside from the GT big key, of course. I mean, having to search for that is always a bad feeling. But aside from that, it was very nice.
Well, thank you for the race, and you guys, thank you for commentating and tracking for it.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for running for us. It was a lot of fun watching you guys.
And have a good day, everyone.
Okay, so with that, very quickly, a very, very short rundown of what's going on. There is currently a quad race in progress on Speed Gaming 3. Mafia Guido versus Caladrius, and AJ Neb 174, our champion from the past 2 randomizer tournaments, versus Ridley Dragon. And then there's also 2 other quad races that have just started. One on Speed Gaming and another one on ALTTPR 1. So if you want to check out those, a lot more randomizer Keysanity action happening just today. A lot of the round 2 matches, the remaining ones that need to be done, will be shown today. So definitely keep an eye on the schedule if you want to watch more of this. We've got a lot of matches going on, a lot of people behind the scenes working to make sure these matches get shown to you guys, and we've had a lot of fun putting on this tournament. And definitely check out more of the action as we continue to the later weeks of the tournament.
All right, so I guess that's going to do it for us. So yeah, I've been Sabotender, and I want to thank my co-commentator, Slim Kirby, for hanging out with me here, and our tracker, Baliame, again. Thank you so much. I think that's going to do it for me.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much for commentating me with this, Sabotender. This was a lot of fun. It was a pleasure, and again, of course, follow our racers as well. Both Liminality and Eriror doing great work, showing us a very entertaining race. So yes, thanks to everyone who made this possible. So this is Slim Kirby signing out. We will see you guys later.